because we have now arrived at July and begun to experience everything in Rotary that comes with it during this time of transition. It seemed appropriate that we embark on this first map called the New Rotary Year with our new Rotary International Director that he can share with all of us his vision with regard to membership. So without further ado, I proudly pass the mic to our Rotary International Director, Marshall Butler. Marshall, take it away, sir.
Well, thank you, Andy, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight. You know, one of the greatest honors of serving as Rotary International Director is the opportunity to see firsthand the incredible work that's happening across Rotary Zones 33 and 34. Every week, I visit clubs, attend district events, talk with other Rotarians who are deeply committed to ensuring Rotary not only survives, but thrives for generations to come. No matter where I go, I hear the same question, though. How do we grow Rotary? It's a fair question. It's an important question, and it's one that deserves more than a simple answer. As you know, Rotary has established an ambitious goal of reaching 1.25 million Rotarians and 125,000 Rotaractors by 2030. Now, that's an exciting goal, but it's also important to recognize that we won't achieve it through our single membership campaign, a new brochure, one successful open house, or one great social media post. Sustainable membership growth happens when we strengthen the entire membership journey. From the moment someone first hears about Rotary, to their first visit, to becoming a member, to staying engaged, to eventually becoming one of our next generation of leaders. Every part of that journey matters. When I shared my vision for these next 2 years, I talked about 3 leadership principles that I believe will help us get there. The first one is continuity, building on the great work already happening across our zones instead of starting over every July. They say that momentum is the hardest thing to gain and the easiest thing to lose. It's so important that we maintain that momentum year over year over year through continuity of leadership. Collaboration, bringing membership, public image, and our foundation together to create a powerful flywheel for growth. And then creativity, embracing new ideas and new ways of engaging people, reaching new people, speaking to new audiences who are looking for purpose, connection, and opportunities to serve. Today's webinar is those 3 principles in action. We're going to focus on 3 priorities that, when combined, create an environment where membership can flourish. First, how do we create a club experience that people genuinely want to be a part of? Second, how do we make Rotary more accessible by expanding the ways people can participate, by meeting people where they're at? And third, how do we ensure people actually know who we are, what we do, and the incredible impact Rotary has in every community that we serve? But you see, none of these priorities work in isolation. An outstanding club experience doesn't help if people never hear about Rotary. Great storytelling doesn't accomplish much if visitors walk into a club that isn't welcoming. Creating new club models only works if these clubs deliver meaningful experiences. Each piece supports the others. And that's why today's presenters are so special. Not only are they experts in these areas, but they're also trusted friends who have devoted countless hours to helping Rotary grow. Even better, they aren't here simply to talk about ideas. They're going to leave you with practical action items that you can take and your club can take to begin implementing immediately. First up, someone who has become one of the leading voices for membership throughout Rotary. As chair of the Membership Action Plan, George Robertson Burnett has helped clubs around the world understand that membership growth begins with culture. George will share why the club experience matters so much and provide actionable ideas that you can use to create a club that attracts new members, engages existing members, and becomes a place that people never want to leave. Following George, you'll hear from immediate past district governor, the voice of that webinars, Andy Vanhook. Andy is one of Rotary's most creative and innovative leaders. Many of you know him as a familiar voice on the Membership Action Plan webinars, and I've had the privilege of working alongside Andy on several productions supporting Rotary events. He's an incredibly talented communicator who has a unique ability to make complex ideas engaging and accessible. And tonight, Andy will explore innovative and flexible club models that help us meet people where they are, making it easier than ever for individuals with different schedules, interests, and lifestyles to become part of the Rotary family. And then we'll hear from someone many of you already know well. She's the recently retired Zone 34 Rotary Public Image Coordinator. She's the executive producer of our newly reimagined Zoomformation, and I'm proud to say she's my chief of staff, Susan Quarter. Susan believes every Rotary Club has amazing stories to tell. The challenge is making sure those stories reach the people who could become our next members, partners, and supporters. She'll share practical ways your club can tell compelling stories that increase awareness, inspire action, and help your community understand the real impact Rotary is making every single day. Following Susan, Terry Weaver will introduce one of the most valuable resources available to clubs today. That's our Membership Success Center. He'll provide an overview of that powerful tool that gives clubs the data and insights they need to stay on what we call the success track, allowing leaders to identify opportunities early and make informed decisions that support long-term growth. At the end, I'll wrap things up with a few final thoughts and remind you about all the great resources that we have across Zones 33 and 34 who stand ready and willing to help you and your club succeed. But first, let's begin where every successful membership journey starts, and that's creating a club experience that people never want to leave. It's my pleasure to introduce my good friend and chair of the Membership Action Plan, George Robertson Burnett. Take it away, George.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated, Marshall. And I love these three principles, and I'll be happy to take the first one. And let me start with a quick question. Why did you join Rotary? Perhaps it was because of a friend. Maybe it was a service project. Perhaps you were looking to network, or maybe you've been a member so long you can't honestly remember. Whatever brought us through the door, very few of us stay because of the reason we join. We stay because of how Rotary and being a Rotarian makes us feel. People stay where they feel welcome, where they make friends, where they know they matter, and where they feel they belong. That's what Marshall's first priority is all about. Not membership numbers, not statistics, but experiences, because great club experiences bring strong Rotary clubs. That is one of the greatest membership strategies we have. Membership begins with belonging and begins the moment a guest walks through the door. Within minutes, they're asking themselves, are these people friendly? Do I feel welcome? Can I see myself belonging here? Long before they decide whether Rotary is right for them, they decide whether your club is right for them. Belonging is emotional before it's organizational. People don't join organizations, they join other people. That's why first impressions matter so much. If nobody greets them and everyone sits where with their usual friends, plus the coffee tastes older than the club charter, we're probably not creating the experiences we're hoping for. But when someone is welcomed, introduced around the room, invited into conversations, and leaves thinking, I'd like to come back, we're already won half the battle. Every meeting should also answer one simple question. Was it worth coming today? People are busy. Every meeting should provide value, whether that's learning something new, being inspired, enjoying some fellowship, or simply having a good laugh. Strong fellowship is one of the biggest reasons members remain Rotarians. Members also want to contribute, not simply attend. Nobody joins Rotary hoping to become a professional audience member. People want opportunities to serve, to lead, and to make a difference. The more involved they become, the more committed they become. And remember to ask them, what interests you? What skills do you have? What would you enjoy doing? Then give them those opportunities. Remember, purpose creates passion. Club culture isn't created by the president and the board alone. It's created by every greeting, every conversation, every act of kindness, every invitation to get involved. Culture is simply how we do things around here, and every one of us helps shape it. We must create a feeling of belonging. Belonging isn't created by accident. It happens because clubs deliberately include members, include guests. Invite members to join conversations, mix seating up occasionally, celebrate birthdays, recognize achievements, notice absences, call someone simply to say, we missed you. Those three words can mean far more than we realize. Don't let members quietly slip away. If members love the Rotary experience, they naturally become our best ambassadors. They invite friends because they're excited, not because someone asked them to find a new member. Here are a few simple actions every club can begin immediately. That is, if they're not already doing them, of course. Personally greet every guest. Introduce members to people they don't already know. Give every new member a meaningful role within 30 days. Make meetings engaging, varied, and enjoyable. Celebrate successes often. Contact members who have been absent. Ask members for ideas and actually use them. End every meeting with people feeling better than when they arrived. None of these cost very much. Most cost nothing, but together they completely transform the club experience. So I'll leave you with this thought. Guests and prospective members always remember how your club made them feel. If they felt welcomed, they'll return. If they felt valued, they'll become involved. If they felt they belonged, they'll become enthusiastic ambassadors for your Rotary Club. Let's elevate the Rotary Club experience, one welcome, one friendship, one meaningful meeting at a time. Because when we create a club that people are glad to be members of, we create a great enthusiasm for our Rotary Club. And now I'll hand you over to my good friend Andy Van Hook, who will elaborate on Marshall's second priority. Over to you, Andy.
Thank you, George. I really appreciate your words and your kind introduction. And it's an honor to be here on the stage this evening. George reminded us that membership begins with belonging and that people stay where they feel welcomed, valued, and connected. But before someone can experience that sense of belonging, there must first be a Rotary opportunity they can actually access. And that brings us to our second priority, expanding opportunities through club growth and flexibility. I, like George, am going to begin with a simple question. If someone wants to be part of Rotary, but cannot participate in the way our club has always operated, do we expect them to change their life to fit Rotary? Or are we willing to create more ways for Rotary to fit into their life? For many years, Rotary membership followed a fairly predictable model. A club met at the same place, on the same day, at the same time, every week. And that model has served Rotary well. Traditional clubs remain incredibly important, and many are thriving. Yet they're not the only way to experience Rotary. People's lives, schedules, interests, and expectations have changed. Some people work remotely, others commute long distances, some care for children or aging parents, or maybe even both. Some cannot attend a weekly lunch meeting, and others may be deeply interested in service but less interested in a traditional meeting format. That doesn't mean that they lack the heart to be Rotarians. It may simply mean we have not yet created the right opportunity for them. Growth requires increasing access. If we only offer one doorway into Rotary, we should not be surprised when many people walk past it. The opportunity is not to abandon what works, it's to build additional doors. That may mean flexible meeting schedules. It may mean hybrid participation. It may mean a companion club that gathers at a different time in a different place around a shared interest. It may mean creating a new club model for people who don't currently see themselves reflected in Rotary. The key is to stop assuming that every future Rotarian will participate exactly like our current members. During my term as district governor, I had the privilege of visiting every club in our district. I saw firsthand that communities are different, clubs are different, and the people we hope to engage are different. Clubs are already operating differently in some ways. What works in a downtown lunch club may not work in a rural community. What works for a retired professional may not work for a young parent. What works for someone with a predictable schedule may not work for a nurse, a teacher, a small business owner, or someone working multiple jobs. Flexibility is not lowering Rotary standards. It's removing unnecessary barriers. We can be flexible about when we meet, where we meet, how often we meet, and how people participate while remaining fully committed to service, integrity, leadership, fellowship, and our shared Rotary values. Those values are what make Rotary special. It's why I keep coming back personally. The meeting format is simply a container. Sometimes when we discuss new clubs or new club models, existing clubs become concerned. They may wonder, will this new club compete with us? They're going to take our members. Does creating something new suggest that our club is no longer successful? The answer to all three of those questions should be no. Companion clubs and new club models should not be created to replace healthy clubs. They should be created to reach people the current club is not reaching. I'll say that again. Companion clubs and new club models should not be created to replace healthy clubs. They should be created to reach people the current club is not reaching. Imagine a traditional Rotary club that meets at noon but recognizes there are many community members who cannot attend during the workday. Instead of saying they're not interested in Rotary, that club could help create an evening companion club. I've seen it work. The members might participate differently, but they could still collaborate on projects, share resources, build friendships, and strengthen Rotary's presence throughout our community. That's not competition, that's expansion. Healthy growth strengthens existing clubs while creating new pathways into Rotary. It brings more volunteers into community projects, introduces new skills, experiences, and perspectives, and it gives more people the opportunity to experience the purpose and belonging George just described. We also need to think beyond geography. A new Rotary opportunity might be organized around the environment, veterans, education, young professionals, peace building, entrepreneurship, or specific community need. The question is not only where could we start another club, the better question may be who in our community wants to serve but has not yet found a place to belong. That question changes the conversation. It moves us away from simply adding names to a membership list. It moves us towards creating meaningful opportunities for participation. So, what can clubs begin doing immediately? First, take an honest look at the barriers your current model may create. Ask members who have left, become less active, or struggled to attend what made participation difficult. Second, talk to people outside of your club. Ask young professionals, parents, business owners, educators, nonprofit leaders, community volunteers what kind of Rotary experience would work for them. And don't begin by explaining your current structure. Begin by listening. Third, experiment. Try an evening gathering, a service only event, a hybrid meeting, or a monthly social opportunity. Not every experiment will become a new club, but every experiment can teach us something. And finally, protect the essentials while being flexible about everything else. Keep the values, keep the service, keep the friendships, keep the commitment to making a difference, but be willing to reconsider the meeting time, location, frequency, and format. Rotary's goal of 1.2 million Rotarians and 125,000 Rotaractors by 2030 will not be reached by simply asking our existing clubs to work harder at attracting members. We must also create opportunities for people to participate. George encourages us to create clubs people love being a part of. Our next responsibility is to make sure people have access to one. So as you think about membership growth, don't only ask, how can we add more members to our club? Ask, how can we create more opportunities for people to belong? When we expand access while preserving Rotary's values, we do not weaken Rotary, we strengthen it. And once we create those opportunities, we have to make sure people know about them. And that is where Susan takes us next. Susan, increase awareness through power of storytelling. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Andy. As many of you heard Marshall mention, and you might already know, over the past few years, I've had the privilege of working with clubs across our zones, helping them strengthen their public image. And if there's one thing I've learned after talking to hundreds of clubs and Rotarians, it's this. We spend a lot of time asking, how do we attract more members? But I think we've been asking the wrong question. People don't join Rotary because they understand Rotary. People join Rotary because they understand why Rotary matters. They don't discover that through statistics or brochures or a list of projects. They discover why it matters through stories. So tonight I want to talk about storytelling and not just its impact on membership, but how it relates to our communities as well. Every Rotary Club is doing great things in our community. We're feeding families, we're mentoring the youth, we're supporting local nonprofits and protecting children, we're eradicating polio and improving neighborhoods, and we're creating lasting friendships. But if people don't know these stories, they don't know the impact that Rotary is making in their own backyard. Storytelling isn't just how we engage members, it's how we help the community understand why Rotary matters. The most powerful public image tool isn't your website, it's not your social media channels, it's not that brochure. It's the stories that your members are telling every single day. But storytelling isn't just a public image tool, it's also a membership strategy. It helps us increase our impact, expand our reach, and create the kind of emotional connection that inspires someone to say, I want to be part of that. So today I'm going to leave you with 3 simple ideas. First, every Rotarian has a story. When I ask clubs for stories, often I hear them say, we don't have any stories, but it's not true. Every Rotarian has a story, big or small. Why did you join Rotary? Why do you stay in Rotary? What friendships or connections have you made because you joined Rotary? What project changed your perspective? What's your Rotary moment? I know I have many. Maybe it's giving a child their first book, or watching that graduate be the first one to walk across the stage because of a scholarship your club presented to them, or watching those drops of polio vaccination go into a child's mouth and save them for a lifetime. Maybe it wasn't a project at all. Maybe it's a friendship you made in Rotary that carried you through a difficult time in life. These are all stories that people remember. Numbers tell us what Rotary did, but these stories remind us why it matters. They help our neighbors understand why Rotary matters to them. Have you ever heard someone get really excited over reading a press release about giving $25,000 check to a school or local nonprofit? No, but they'll remember the child that received their first book from a Rotarian. They'll remember that graduate crossing the stage. They'll remember the mother's smile on her face as her child received those life-saving drops. That's what people connect with. Those are the stories that people remember. Second, great stories are hiding in plain sight. The biggest challenge isn't that our clubs don't have stories, it's that we're looking in the wrong places. We're waiting for that giant international project, or a check presentation, or the big headline, or a ribbon cutting opportunity, but meanwhile, we have incredible stories that are happening every day in our clubs. It's the new member who says, I finally found my people. It's a conversation after a meeting or the unexpected friendship that develops. It's the volunteer that's serving for the first time, or that quiet member who mentors a student every week but never says a word. It's a smile a mother shares with you when you hand her diapers for her child. These little moments are everywhere. They're happening in our schools, in our parks, in our food banks, in our neighborhoods, in our community organizations. Everywhere Rotary is, these moments are happening. Those aren't just Rotary stories, they're community stories. We just have to start noticing them. One of the simplest things that you can do is begin asking better questions. So instead of asking, how did the project go? Or how much money did we raise last weekend? Ask, what moment from that event will you remember a year from now? That's where these stories live. And finally, stories are invitations. People don't join organizations. They join people, they join purpose, and they join experiences that they can picture themselves being a part of. Every story that your club shares should answer one simple question. Could someone picture themselves becoming a part of this? That's what great storytelling does. It helps someone see themselves in the story before they ever walk through that door to your first meeting. But here's one more thought. If we're serious about increasing our impact and expanding our reach, we can't keep telling yesterday's stories in yesterday's ways. A mission has changed. The mission has not changed, but the communities have. People discover organizations in different ways. We have to find new and innovative ways to share our stories that will resonate with different audiences that we're seeking to engage with. The story's still the hero. Our job is simply to find it and package it in a way that invites someone new to listen. Because communities do not support organizations that they don't understand, and they can't understand our impact if we never tell the story behind it. Membership does not begin with an application. It begins with someone hearing a story and thinking, I want to be a part of that. So, I'd like to leave you with a challenge. Go back to your club and ask 3 members to tell you about a Rotary moment that they will never forget. Then listen. Then write it down or record it or document it in some way that you can share that story. Then ask yourself one more question. Who needs to hear this story and what's the best way to share it? Don't just share it with your club, share it with your community. Because every story is an invitation not only to join Rotary, but to understand why your club is an essential part of your community. If our communities don't know our stories, they can't know our impact. And if they don't know our impact, they'll never know what they're missing. The stories are there, they're in plain sight. You just have to simply find them and tell them. So remember, membership begins with a story. Make sure someone hears yours. Thank you. And now I'd like to turn it over to Terry Weaver.
Thanks, Susan. Those are some great insights our clubs can use right now. And here are some more. This month's Membership Success Center tidbit is a 101 course on the MSC, subtitled Start with the End in Mind. So what end are we talking about? We're talking about the end of the Rotary year on June 30th, 2027, and your club successfully and predictably achieving its membership goal. Are you sure you have sufficient plans and strategies in place for that to happen? You've heard countless great strategies this evening, but here's a tip. The key to membership success in Rotary is to start now. I'll say that again. The key to membership success in Rotary is to start now. Make it a priority to attract some new members in July and August. Every club listening to this broadcast will need new members this year. So why not go ahead and get some right away? If you have prospects in the pipeline, I suggest you make it a goal to get 1 prospect committed to join by July 31st. Otherwise, set a goal to get a new member committed by August 31st. That will start your new member momentum. And your first question should be, just how many new members does our club actually need to accomplish our growth goals and to replace those members likely to terminate during the year? And that question is answered in the Membership Success Center. Next, you'll want to make sure your membership strategies are focused on your club's actual problems to solve with respect to membership. Is it insufficient new member attraction? Is it high attrition? Don't know? The MSC is the place to figure that out as well. And finally, how will you know you're on pace month by month to get to that new member attraction goal? The Membership Success Center is also the place to monitor that. So do yourself a favor. Watch the video, walk through the goal setting process in the MSC, and make plans to update your board and your club members each month as to whether you're on pace, attracting enough new members month by month to achieve your goal. Thanks in advance for watching. And now back to Rotary International Director Marshall Butler for a wrap-up. Marshall?
Well, thank you, Terry. And man, I'm such a big fan of the Membership Success Center. Thank you for that overview. You know, as we wrap up today, I hope you've noticed something very important. Each of today's presentations focused on a different aspect of membership, but together they all tell one much larger story. A great club experience encourages members to stay and inspires them to invite others. Expanding opportunities through innovative and flexible club models makes Rotary accessible to more people. And compelling storytelling helps people discover Rotary in the very first place. But none of these priorities exist on their own. They build on one another. When clubs create an outstanding experience, members become ambassadors. When Rotary becomes more accessible, more people have the opportunity to experience that culture. And when we tell these stories well, even more people discover the value of Rotary and choose to become a part of it. We've got a great product. We just need to invite more people to experience it. And that's how momentum is created. That's how we're going to reach Rotary's goal of 1.25 million Rotarians and 125,000 Rotaractors by 2030. But the good news is that you don't have to figure this out all by yourself. One of the greatest strengths of Rotary Zones 33 and 34 is the incredible network of leaders and resources available to every single club and district. Continue to join our Membership Action Plan webinars where practical ideas and proven strategies are shared every single month. Reach out to your Rotary membership coordinators. They are ready to help you and your club strengthen the member experience, explore new club models, and identify opportunities for growth in your community. Partner with your Rotary Public Image coordinators. They can help you and your club tell its story more effectively, connect with your community, and showcase the impact your members are making every single day. Be sure to visit our Zones 33 and 34 website. You'll find tools, resources, recordings, and ideas you can put into practice immediately. And don't forget the Rotary Membership Success Center. It's filled with outstanding resources developed to help clubs recruit, engage, retain members using data. We have an incredible team across our zones. More importantly, we have people who genuinely want to help your club succeed. As I said at the beginning of tonight's webinar, sustainable membership growth isn't about finding one magic solution. There is no light switch, there's no magic bullet. It's about strengthening the entire membership journey, creating clubs that people never want to leave, making the Rotary experience easier to access, and telling stories that inspire others to join us. If each of us commits to taking even one idea from tonight's webinar back to our clubs, together we can create that lasting momentum for Rotary. Thank you for investing your time tonight. Thank you to George, Andy, Susan, and Terry for sharing your expertise and your passion. And thank you for everyone who attended for everything you do to strengthen Rotary in our communities. Together, we'll continue building stronger clubs, expanding our reach, and creating lasting impact. Back to you one more time, Andy.
Thank you, Director Marshall. And thank you, Susan and George, for your insights this evening and allowing me to join along with you. So, opportunity to continue the conversation is going to happen this Saturday, July the 18th at 10 a.m. in the Membership Action Plan Lounge, or the MAP Lounge. It's an open conversation, a space for Rotary conversation around membership growth. So if you got ideas, you have questions, pop on over there at 10 a.m. this Saturday, July the 18th, to the MAP Lounge for a little more conversation on membership growth. Our next MAP webinar is Monday, August the 10th, and it is the 4 pillars of membership success. We'd love to have you join us. That'll be at 5:30 Eastern. You can always register on DAGTV, and love to have you join us there to learn about the 4 pillars of membership success so we can keep the momentum and keep your clubs growing. And as always, we have a great QR code here, or you can follow the link there on your website and scan the QR code to ask your membership questions. We want to make sure that your questions go answered and ensure that you're successful in moving forward this Rotary year and growing your club and increasing the impact that you have in your community. So go ahead and scan that QR code, and we will get back to you with an answer to your question. And with that, hope you have a great evening, and we will see you in August for the next membership action plan. Good night.